Hey, what's up? My name is Mark Harley. Here's some shit that I wrote the last couple of days. I hope you like it. And if you don't, honestly, I don't even care. You know, it's okay to be wrong sometimes and have bad taste. I would just encourage you maybe to seek out other people's opinions who have better taste than you, because clearly you have none. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's just an objective observation, because if you don't like what I do as a comedian, have you ever considered the possibility that your brain doesn't work right? No? Right, that's what I thought. I mean, just for 1 second, have you ever thought, oh, maybe I'm closed-minded, right? No, you haven't, because your mind is too closed off to the possibility of thinking that you're closed-minded to even realize you're closed-minded. I'm good, I'm fine, okay? I'm great, I'm doing my thing, and I just hope that you can find happiness at some point in your life, because clearly it has eluded you thus far. Kanye West is in the news again in the aftermath of a highly controversial and revelatory tweet. The internet remains divided over what's more shocking: the content of the tweet, in which he confesses to having a childhood homosexual incestuous relationship, or the fact that he managed to compose a viral tweet regarding a topic other than his hatred for Jews. Some observers have noted the story hasn't garnered as much mainstream media attention as might be expected given the shocking nature of his admissions. However, I believe the lack of mainstream commotion just proves a bit of ancient wisdom. If you open with, "Hi, I'm a black Nazi. Hitler was actually a pretty good dude, and here, check out this swastika t-shirt I made you can buy online," it can set up a pretty smooth landing for later publicly announcing that before you became a world-famous rapper, you spent a decade sucking your cousin's dick. NFL Hall of Famer and popular broadcaster Shannon Sharpe, 56, has been accused of rape by an OnlyFans model who was just 19 years old when they first met. The $50 million lawsuit was filed by a woman who claims that Mr. Sharpe used his fame to, quote, manipulate, control, subjugate, and violate women, to which all famous men simultaneously retorted, "I'm sorry, what else am I supposed to use my fame for?" Sharpe quickly went on the defensive, releasing text messages that appear to show the alleged victim begging him to perform the very acts that she would later report as unwanted and non-consensual. Needless to say, public opinion is polarized, with feminists and sex work advocates staunchly supporting the accuser, while Sharpe's defenders seem to be mainly comprised of NFL fans and cool blacks. But regardless, no one can deny the controversy has sparked a national conversation about race, consent, power, and the appropriate rule set for old famous guys chasing young pussy. Now, personally, I believe the crux of this entire matter really boils down to one simple age-old question: why are women so indecisive? Am I right?
Rape me. No, don't rape me. I love you. Put a big black baby in me. I hate you. Give me $50 million.
It's like, make up your mind already. We're going to be late for dinner. It's been an exciting week for those following the Blake Lively v. Justin Baldoni legal drama, as it has now been alleged that Blake Lively's legal team may have obtained private text messages from Justin Baldoni's publicist via criminal means. Legal experts remain divided on the issue. However, psychology experts are unanimous. The A-list power couple predicament that Lively and Reynolds find themselves in at the current moment is the inevitable outcome of a marriage based entirely on infidelity, fame, wealth, paranoia, narcissistic personality disorder, and a firm belief that if nobody likes me, the only rational explanation is that a male feminist I bullied on set must have executed an untraceable smear campaign against me to convince the entire world that I'm an arrogant, tone-deaf bitch just for shilling my new alcohol brand during the promo tour of a film about surviving domestic violence. This is my impression of an A-list actor explaining how he got buff for a superhero movie. Never really been much of a gym rat myself, but to play Thor, you gotta look the part. You gotta look like a superhero, right? So I had to train every single day for 3.5 weeks leading up to principal photography. I ate 27,000 calories a day. Put on 84 kgs of lean muscle mass in that time frame while dropping 44 kilos of fat. How'd I do it? Home workouts, you know, body weight, Tabata, kettlebell, 20 minutes or less. Yeah, you can find it all on my app. Celebrity Made Up Bullshit Fitness by Chris Hemsworth. I feel like if Trump had a southern accent, his bullshit would be more believable, don't you? I don't give a goddamn what China does. I'll hit him with the $1,000,000,000,000% tariffs if I need to. If I wanted to, I could get on the phone with Putin right now and end that whole goddamn Ukraine crisis, okay? It's just Vladimir Zelensky came to the White House a few weeks ago and was rude to me. That didn't sit well. So I think he should apologize before we move forward with negotiations. What do you mean I didn't win the 2020 election? You know goddamn right I did, fair and square. They miscounted the votes and did all sorts of other illegal shit that, well, it's hard to get into. If you want to come by my office sometime, I got all the evidence back there. It's just not something I carry around with me. Plus, I don't even think about it that much. It doesn't bother me. Not like I stay up at night thinking about the 2020 election. Here I am, I won 2024. I'm back up in it, going for a third term too. So I'm married to a German woman. Initially, I just married her to help her get a green card. But then she utilized a combination of masterful propaganda and savvy political maneuvering to consolidate power, take over my means of reproduction, and ultimately overthrow my heart. Here we are 10 years later. She's a US citizen, and I live in constant fear under a fascist dictatorship in my own apartment. It's the old switcheroo, huh? I've been to Germany a couple times now, but honestly, I think I've learned more about German culture just from the German sayings that my wife uses most frequently. For example, she loves this one. Nett ist der Bruder von Scheiße, which means nice is the brother of shit. She'll ask me, why are you still hanging out with this person? I don't like them. And I say, well, they're really nice. She says, nett ist der Bruder von Scheiße. Nice is the brother of shit. And I'll be like, can you elaborate on what you mean by that? And she'll be like, oh, I have to explain everything to you. Okay, so imagine this. If like nice was a person, okay? It would be very genetically similar to human feces. And like their parents would also be some sort of like waste or garbage that you could discard from society to keep its pure German heritage, right? Like if there was a family portrait in the household of things that had no value whatsoever to human society, shit would be standing next to nice wearing matching outfits. Did you just say matching outfits? No, I said matching outfits. They don't even sound similar. You are annoying the shit out of me. Anyways, they'd be matching or at least wearing a similar color palette. And if nice and shit were like in a middle-class family, the personifications of worthless stuff, like they might share a bunk bed together or something. And they would be like bickering sometimes about who gets to wear the one pair of lederhosen today or who gets the last tube of Fleischwurst. And the parents, of course, would also be genetically very worthless to human society. So the dad could represent something like dog hair on your clothes and furniture, or the dust that accumulates on the top of the ceiling fan that's hard to clean out. And the mom, of course, would be like equally devoid of any sort of value. Like she could personify vomit, or a speed limit on the Autobahn, or a restaurant that doesn't serve warm beer, pretzel bread, and schnitzel. And they have a daughter who, of course, has the same trash genetics, so she could be something like polite small talk, or the use of melody and intonation and pleasant speaking rhythms. Still, out of all the children, shit would be the favorite, because at least you can use shit to like make manure on the ground and grow something.
But nice? What the fuck can you do with nice? Nothing. This is why we must flush it down the toilet with higher priority than the shit. Do you think Angela Merkel became chancellor by being nice? Do you think Germany won the World Cup in 2014 by being nice? Do you think the American government covertly recruited all the top Nazi scientists and engineers after World War II and forced them to work for the CIA because they're all so nice?
My mom, Evelyn's really nice, but she's eccentric, so her random opinions on things are really funny sometimes. Like she'll offer an unsolicited take and I'm like, that's certainly a unique way to look at that. However, that's just not how reality works. A couple years ago, she called me up after seeing Jason Momoa on SNL and she goes,
I don't get the big deal. He's so untalented. He's like a big nothing. You should be up there.
and I'm like, oh yeah, no, for sure, Mom. He's only one of the most strikingly handsome and charismatic A-list leading men in all of Hollywood who's paid his dues, made $1 billion at the box office, and I dressed up as Khal Drogo for Halloween one time, so I'm not gonna sit here and take this Jason Momoa slander. I'm sorry, Mama, but I'm Team Momoa.
Well, I think you'd be a much better Aquaman, so why don't you call your agents and tell them to get you in there?
Right, because that's how Hollywood works, Mom. You can just swap Jason Momoa out of a $200 million superhero movie and replace him with somebody who's also buff and has long hair. In fact, I'm gonna call my agent right now. Hello, agent, yes, it's Mark Harley. Got a little favor to ask you. Do you mind calling up Universal and telling them to fire Jason Momoa from the Aquaman series and cast me instead? What's that? Am I having a schizophrenic break? No, this phone call is actually not a result of the delusional voices inside my head, but rather the delusional voices inside my mom's head. No, but seriously, if you guys ever met, you'd love her. She's real sweet. She'll start in on a hot take and I'll just brace for the irrationality and zone out and try not to roll my eyes in front of her in a way that's mean, but then sometimes days later, her idea will pop up into my head and I'll realize maybe she was onto something. The other day, NBA basketball is on TV. You know what her takeaway was? I don't like it. Too much scoring. I'm like, oh yeah, I love UFC, but I really hate it when the two guys beat the shit out of each other too hard. Like, that's the whole point of the thing. I go, Mom, what sports do you even like? And she says, I like women's Olympic figure skating, professional tennis, and NCAA swimming. Do you see a quadruple axel and go, too much spinning? Do you watch Serena Williams play and say, too much grunting? Do you watch the women's 500 freestyle final and go, the girl who just won by a lap has too big of a penis? I didn't think so. But with basketball, the rims are too low and it's too easy for them to score. I want to see a challenge. And then I was thinking about it the next day and I realized maybe my mom's onto something. I mean, pro basketball players these days are all 7-foot tall black dudes and Serbians. The hoop looks like a little kid's basket. There is no struggle. And now that I think about it, scoring is actually inversely correlated to the popularity of the sport worldwide. I mean, what's the most popular sport in the world? Soccer. And these games end in 0-0 fucking ties. I mean, we should make the baskets 30 feet tall, make it virtually impossible to score. So one guy gets a basket during a game and all of a sudden an entire nation of blackout drunk men goes fucking wild in a stadium. Hey mom, it's Mark, just calling to check in. And I also wanted to apologize because I have been too critical of you and some of your hot takes. I was thinking about it and you're right. Raising the hoops in basketball could actually make for a better game. And while we're on the topic of things that you've said before that I dismissed prematurely, maybe you're right about Jason Momoa too. Maybe he does suck at acting. Maybe I'd be a far superior Aquaman. Maybe Universal should get rid of him and replace him with me. No, that's crazy. They'd never get rid of Jason Momoa. But what if somebody else did? Breaking news, tragedy has struck Hollywood. Jason Momoa was tragically murdered today by an unknown assailant bystanders are describing as an answer to the question, what if Dog the Bounty Hunter fucked Lou Ferrigno? Now, I am aware that sexual intercourse between those two individuals would likely not result in offspring, but we're hoping that the description helps lead to his capture. Hold on. I'm getting word that LA's most flamboyantly gay cop has apprehended the fugitive.
So I'm like literally on my lunch break hitting glutes at Gold Sweet Ho when I see this guy that matches the exact description of Jason Momoa's killer. And I go up to him and I'm like, hey, you look just like Jason Momoa. And he got all weird, so I knew it was him. So I was like, you know what? You're under arrest. And he's like, for what? And I was like, for being too handsome. And it fucking worked.
I just wanted to say I'm like super sorry about killing Jason Momoa or whatever. I guess I underestimated how beloved he was by the public. I thought it was going to be more like a Luigi Mangione situation, but apparently not. So here I am, spending the rest of my life in prison. But I just wanted to say that I feel super bad about it, and I want to commit the rest of my life to actually like being a contributing member of society and creating something that people will be moved by and remember forever. A one-man musical taking the California penitentiary system by storm. I Killed Jason Momoa. My bad. Written and performed by convicted murderer Mark Harley. You should be Aquaman. I should be Aquaman. Jason Momoa has no talent. All I can tell you is Hollywood would be much better if you took his place. So go be a go-getter and kill Jason Momoa. That's the answer to all of your problems. If you kill Jason Momoa, Mark Harley should be Aquaman and not him. As I sit inside my cell, in my own private hell, I realize the greed inside me might have cast a spell. Murdering Jason Momoa wasn't the answer. Jealousy grew and took over me just like a cancer. It metastasized and had my eyes. See, wrath is my last path, which by I have a chance to snatch that sweet success from a man I despise. For absolutely no reason. It turns out I am the heathen, and I'll regret my fateful steps as long as I am breathing. I shouldn't have killed you, Jason Momoa. You were a national treasure, I should have enjoyed ya. Now that I'm spending my whole life in prison, I've decided to focus on just one vision, to devote every cell in me to give breath to your legacy. So even though you're dead, you'll keep on living in our heads rent-free. Yeah, so it's like a whole musical about killing Jason Momoa. What's that? Is that too dark for SNL? You know what? Why don't you get back to listening to NPR 24/7? I think witty quips from Terry Gross are more your speed because I'm actually a raw, uncensored comedian, free speech advocate, okay? So you liberals are always trying to censor me, and it's like the left's trying to make comedy illegal. It's like legalize comedy. Like comedy sucks. Like legalize comedy, right?